What's up, internet? My name's Ori. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. You like this video, hit that like button, hit that notification bell. You'll never miss a video. You'll never miss a stream. Today we're going over Survivor, episode number 8. And this was a pretty good episode. I liked it a lot better than I did the last episode, which was just way too twist heavy. We did have a little bit of a twist up in this one, but nothing too crazy, which really kind of ruined anything for me. We did start off the episode with kind of the fallout from last tribal, with Heidi using her advantage to have Lauren write down Jam Jam, which I kind of went over in the last recap, how I think that was a really bad move. She could have used that as an opportunity to take Lauren's vote and say, I'm voting for Jamie, which would have then given Jam Jam and Matt the clue that they could vote together and be able to have the upper hand in that vote. There would have been the option for Lauren to then use her extra vote, which then would have changed things. But at the very least, you kind of would have flushed that and made that not an option anymore going forward. So either way, I think it would have been a better move for her not to have her vote Jam Jam. Brandon and Kane, though, they feel like after Matt left and they were able to take out a member of the old Soka tribe, they are more in power since Ratu has 4 members left, being Kane, Brandon, Lauren, and Jamie, all still in the game. But Carson, Carolyn, and Jam Jam, the original Tika tribe, realize how much power they actually have. Since you've got the 4 Ratu members, you've got the 3 Soka members, and then the 3 Tika members, they can decide where they want to go. If they want to work with the old Soka tribe, Danny, Franny, and Heidi, they can do that. Or if they want to side with Ratu and take them out, they can do that as well. So they realize they have the real power here. We then end up getting Tree Mail, which is where we get the little bit of the twist for today's episode. When they're going to the next immunity challenge, it's going to be competed at least partially in pairs. They weren't 100% sure whether or not they were playing against each other or with each other, but they did have to pair up and choose some sort of a partner. I actually have them listed here with their partners. So Brandon was with Kane. Lauren ended up with Danny. That was kind of funny too, since Danny was saying Lauren to be voted out last episode. And then we had Jam Jam and Franny, who teamed up, Jamie and Heidi, and Carson and Carolyn. Now, we also did have Carson, who was feeling very sick from the peanut butter and jellies they had at the last reward that they got. So he was not feeling too well. He was throwing up the morning of this challenge. So Carolyn was like, listen, I'll go with Carson. Like, I don't care. So that's how they ended up as a team. And the challenge was a good one as well. So it started in pairs and it was played in rounds. So the first one, they had one of those nets where you had to kind of spin around to untangle yourself in the net. And then once both people were through that net, they would have to dig to get their planks they would need for the second round. And the last team to do this was going to be eliminated. And that ended up being Carson and Carolyn. Carolyn just got completely stuck in the net. Carson only got in once the final team finished, so they were eliminated first. We then got to the round where they had to build a bridge using just 3 planks. And the first 2 teams to make it through this would move on to the final round, so it would only be 4 people competing. Brandon and Kane were able to kind of finish first on that. I was actually really impressed with how big they are, just to be able to move along that rope bridge with those planks was very impressive. And then they were followed pretty closely by Lauren and Danny. So that is your final 4, Brandon, Lauren, Kane, and Danny. And that moved on into an endurance competition for that final round. One of those ones where they had to stand on very thin planks on either side. And it was very hard. It was very hard endurance. It's one of those ones where I don't think I would do very well in it at all. But there were 4 different levels of these planks, and each one would get smaller and smaller, the footholds for them. Eventually, Kane does fall, but I was very impressed with how well he did, Same with Brandon. I was impressed with him as well on how far they made it. They both made it down to that second, or I think even the third foothold there. And we were down to Danny and Lauren, and I was very impressed with the both of them because they made it all the way down to that bottom foothold. But it is Lauren who's able to pull off the win, getting immunity for herself, headed into Tribal. Now, once we get back to camp, Brandon and Kane are already starting to throw out Franny's name as the next one to be voted out. And they're thinking they can get that original 3 from Tika, Carson, Jam Jam, and Carolyn to go along with them. And they actually want to try and make it unanimous. So they even go to Danny and Heidi and try and get them to vote with them as well. But Danny immediately and Heidi also is like, well, I don't think this is a good idea. Maybe we can try and flip this and get the Tika to work with them, and they could do a 6 on against the 4 and have the majority that way. Danny even says like he's willing to use his idol to save Franny and take Brandon out, which Heidi wasn't 100% sure that Danny would do, since it seemed like Danny and Brandon had kind of a good bond for when they went on the little reward with Carolyn, and she felt like she was like the odd person out of that convo. Yeah, he says that he'd be willing to use his idol to keep Franny around, keep the numbers, and take out Brandon, because Rat 2 is just too strong with having 4 members. If they take one of them out, it kind of evens things up where each of the original tribe only has 3 members left. Heidi tries to work on getting those Tika members, Carson, Jam Jam, and Carolyn. And she even actually ends up telling Carson and Jam Jam that, oh, Danny has an idol and he is willing to play it on Franny. Which I don't know why she would go that far to tell them that. All she has to do is say, listen, are you guys down to vote with us? Because then maybe Danny doesn't have to use the idol. He only has to use it if they think that those 3 aren't going to vote with them. But since they know, Danny gets told this by Carson. Carson's like, yeah, Heidi told us. Jam Jam knows about it too. And Danny's worried that now Jam Jam can go to Ratu and say, hey, Danny's got an idol. Not only does he have an idol, he's going to play it for Franny, so we could just vote Danny out. So it was really interesting on how this was going to play out once we headed into Tribal. But in the end, Danny does play his idol for Franny, and it ends up working because all the votes did go for Franny, except for the 3 from Danny, Franny, and Heidi, who ended up voting Brandon out of the game. Now, what I think happened here was Jam Jam, Carson, and Carolyn voted for Franny to just keep up the appearance, right? And not show their cards that they were working with Danny, Franny, and Heidi to vote out Brandon. This way, it keeps them very much in the middle. Plus, it forces that idol to have been flushed. If they weren't going to use it, then they would still know that Danny has an idol. And if he wasn't going to use it, then Franny would be going. So it really just kind of made sense for them just to keep with Ratu and kind of play up like, oh, we didn't know. Like, oh my goodness, he used an idol? Wow, how did that happen? So it was really smart from Carson, Jam Jam, and Carolyn just to play along and go with the Franny vote. But overall, I thought it was a really good episode. I enjoyed it. Wasn't as twist heavy as the last episode, so I like that as well. The twist we did get was very minimal and not really that bad for the overall game. I feel like a lot of the twists they've been doing recently kind of choke the game. This was the first Tribal since the merger that everyone was able to vote and everyone was able to be voted for except for the winner of immunity. The first Tribal after merge, half of them were safe. The second Tribal after merge, half of them didn't even vote. So this was the first time that everyone was really playing Survivor. So that was kind of cool to see. But what did you guys think of the episode? What do you think about how things are going forward? There was a really good comparison when we were watching over on Kick during the stream of the actual episode of someone was comparing Danny to Boston Rob. And it was one of those things where I was like, you know what? I can kind of see it. he's like a more mellow Boston Rob in how he plays it. And I thought that was a really good comparison. I really still like Danny as a player. I like Carolyn, of course, but I think at this point, Carolyn's going to make it to the final. She's going to be at final tribal council, but she's going to get 0 votes to win, which sucks because I think she's a fantastic character and she's actually much smarter than a lot of the cast think. She still has an idol that nobody knows about, and has kept that a secret the whole time. Maybe if she's able to use her idol in a big way and make it a big flashy move, that can be enough for her to get the win in the end. But I just think at this point, she's more than likely going to get to the finals and then get 0 votes. I think Carson, if the whole sickness that he had doesn't keep cropping up, I think he has a really good shot of getting to the end. And at this point, Jam Jam might be the one. Jam Jam might be the one who has the best shot to win. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I'd love to see Danny win, but I don't see it happening. Kane's kind of out on his own at this point. Lauren is an interesting character. I like the way she plays as well, but I don't know if she's really gotten the edit that would show a winner. Franny's another little wild card here where, she lost Matt, but her name is already being thrown out because I think people realize that Matt is a locked-in vote for her, and you don't want to keep somebody around who has a locked-in vote in jury, because that's just less of a chance for you to win in the end. So what do you guys think? Did you like the episode? Who do you like so far? Who at this point would you say is got a good chance to win? Let me know in those comments down below. Also, if you are new here, hit that subscribe button. You like this video, hit that like button, hit that notification bell. You'll never miss a video. You'll never miss a stream. Check out the links to all of my socials in the description down below, the Twitch, the Twitter, the Discord, the Kick stream. We were watching the episode live on Kick, so make sure you come join us for next week's episode. Thank you guys again so much for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you, and I will see you next time.